long time, but this morning I have to do it. I'm going to do a live stream for a while. I'm still, obviously, I haven't showered. I've got my pajama bottoms on and the shirt I wore yesterday while I was working. I can see I'm a real mess. Behind me is, but we'll all live. Behind me is a painting I'm calling Queen. I've been working on her for about a week, I think. I'll give you an idea of the size. She is two 4-foot panels, so 8 foot by 5 foot. 8 foot by 5 foot. I am 5'6", so that gives you an idea of how tall this is. The camera isn't going to pick up all the detail in it, but I'm pretty proud of this. Obviously, you can see the throne. You can see most of the throne. You can see most of the dress. Over in this corner, I've done a lot of detailing in the frame and the around the painting. Let's try this again. This is taken from a photo shoot of a Rhode Island School of Design RISD professor, teacher, instructor, but also social activist in Providence, Rhode Island, Jessica Brown. Jessica Brown. You can find her online under Lady J Brown, I think it is, or Lady Brown. I'll find the link and post it below. But I've been in love with this image for 2 years. There were a whole bunch of photos in this photo shoot that she put up online, and I saw them and I went bananas. And so this has been sitting in the back of my head ever since. You'll have to excuse me, I do have bags, I'm very tired. Because I've been up till midnight or so every day painting about 12, 14 hours a day. Well, not really 12, 14, because I do take my breaks. So let's say 10, 12 hours a day. But this, and I've done a couple of other projects or tried to work on them, but I always end up coming back to this. So I have different paintings I'm working on, and one I'm really trying to retool because it's driven me crazy since I did it. I finished it, quote unquote finished it, quote unquote finished it. I've hated it. I've hated how the children in it look cutesy. So I've been trying to retool that, and it hasn't worked out well. I don't even know where it is at this point. I've hidden it from myself. But I keep coming back to Queen. And I honestly believe this is one of my better paintings, one of my better pieces. And I feel like I'm back to painting the way I used to, because of the size and the scale. And this is what I enjoy most. I can't do teeny tiny canvases. My eyesight isn't good enough for it, and my brushes are all beat up, and I love them. But I don't do teeny tiny images. The smallest I get is 24 by 24, and they still have those big, fat, loose brush strokes. I don't like it. It's not fun. It is absolute torture for me because I cannot express the reference material or how I feel about the reference material, or more importantly, the paint I'm using. My supplies, I cannot express them. I cannot present them on teeny tiny scale. It doesn't work for me. People keep saying to me, you should paint smaller. Okay, I'm now going to say this for the 50 millionth time. I can't see. And it doesn't work for me. If you want my paintings, you want the expression like a lot of artists. If you want me, if you want my abilities, my technique, it comes on a larger scale. Obviously, we also, I have prints and all kinds of ways that you can get it on a smaller scale. I try and supply affordable options. But for painting, for real painting, my painting, it has to be on a larger scale. So this is what I've been doing all week, and this is, actually I'm kind of embarrassed because the camera stands about 14 feet away from the canvas right now, whereas before just about 10 minutes ago, I've been painting between two walls, and let me measure it. So you're 14 feet away. This room is going to be about 20 feet long. Wait a minute. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about a 10, the room is about 10, 11 feet wide. And so I've just kind of been going back and forth like a ping pong ball. And it's worked. We've made it work, but not as well as we could have. So I've put it up against my back door. I've closed the windows for the most part, pulled the blinds down. I don't like having the light blocked out. Not because of, you know, the natural light, blah, blah, blah. It's because it makes me feel so alone and claustrophobic. I don't need company, I don't want company, but I need to know, I need to get out of my head every once in a while. And just looking out the back door, wait a minute, I gotta grab some paint. Just being able to look out the back door is sometimes enough. But now I've got it blocked off. Once again, excuse my fat ass and the pajamas. I've also got a lot of glare, which is driving me crazy because the paint is super wet. I've been painting all morning this morning, so again, so some of the paint in here is really wet. Once again, painting with mineral spirits. I haven't put any Neo McGilp in here because I didn't want it to get locked in. You know, the Neo McGilp is going to adhere to the surface. Yeah, there we go. But I have a tendency to be so in love with it that I'll mix it with my paints, and then all of a sudden I've got this gloss that is permanently adhered and I can't do anything about it. So what I'm doing this morning, you know, sorry about the glare again. Let me shut this off. Oh, see if that helps at all. Nope, did not. So what I'm at today is kind of finishing this guy up, finishing Queen up. Move this over for a sec. And I'm going into the dress, which has, of course things are falling over, which has really, really bothered me because, wait a minute. Of the folds. When I was laying it out, I was so excited about pattern that I didn't necessarily take the folds into consideration. So that's today, is one of the things I really enjoy doing. Creating folds in fabric. And creating folds in fabric is really, it's kind of an abstract way of painting because it's all shapes. It's all just shapes. Well, everything, you know, art is shapes, but the way, I'm kind of missing it over there, but I'll get it. This section is just, I left this to foul. I left that particular section to foul for too long. But again, working right on top of it, I couldn't quite see it clearly. Now, a lot of the secrets I have to creating folds folds in fabric is sometimes putting light over dark lines and dark lines over light lines. You know, what I had held on to in my head is this is going to be a dark, like a Prussian blue, mixed with a little bit of transparent earth red line. I then go over with one of the cobalt blues or one of the other blues that I'm working with. And if it doesn't work out, then we just redo it. It's not a big deal. God, that's so pretty when you put, like, God, the glare in here is killing me. Let's see something else. I've got a light just over the camera, which may not be helping. Nope, not that. Let's see. Turn this back on, see if yeah, this is a big problem, is glare. Oh, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. So I'm Beck Lane. Hi, in my pajamas. Hi, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company, and we're doing a studio meet in another state. And I am going to be chatty because I don't have any headphones. I can't turn Boston Public Radio on and drown out the noises in my head. So you're going to have to listen to them. As you can see, I'm not using the reference material now. Hopefully, with experience and my love of painting fabric, I'll actually get this right. Get the lights and the darks right, I mean. Now, one of the mistakes I used to make when I was painting fabric in the beginning was seeing or expressing a fold as being one line. There, I just went inside the dark with some light. Yeah, we're getting there. Expressing a fold as one line. As one, put this down. Let's see, expressing a fold as being one line. It's not one line. There's a light line, there's a dark line, there's a lighter line underneath to show the shading. There's another line to show where the fold ends and connects to another portion of the material. Another line showing the connection to light line showing the connection to the material. A darker line on the outside. It's nothing but really painting fabrics is nothing but a whole bunch of triangles, really. Okay, see this. Now by putting it up against this wall, I can see the weakest end. It used to be this, or the weakest section, it is definitely this. But instead of what I just did, instead of following like a straight line, which is what I had, a straight line over her leg, I've used a brush stroke at an angle and kind of curved the lines up just a tiny bit. And that's given motion to the fabric. And I just mixed in gray. That's fabulous. Remove some of that. There we go. So instead of having a straight line, I actually have it where it now curves up at the end. It's highlighted at the end. The dark line has just been reconfigured to connect the lighter portions of the fabric, or the highlighted portions of the fabric, to another indication of fold. I've given it a triangle at the top, and that connects to the dark line and the light lines highlighting it. I should probably just pull the camera in so you can see. You know, if you're not used to painting fabric, this can be very confusing. But figuring this out is one of my favorite parts of painting. Oh, much happier. I'm going to pull it in just a little bit so you're not just looking at me walking back and forth. Let's see. Okay, let's see how this works. Yeah, there you can see it better. This is my problematic section, but now that I'm figuring it out, I can see where I have to make that connect also, not to over here necessarily, but to up here, to keep the flow moving. Really out of cobalt blue, I'm digging it out of the tube now and mixing it with Radiant Blue by Gamblin. I avoid white if I can and use Radiant Blue instead. Yeah, I noticed up here I had, you can see the jet, oops, I noticed, I noticed up in these little designs you can see the gesso, which I do enjoy. Kind of messing with the eye by showing flat black gesso against either flat oil or glossy oil paint. But I'm not sure it's working in this instance. Now, this painting is actually, Jay at Blue Egg Gallery in Fort Lauderdale. Had some people he was showing it to. But we don't have any confirmations. Nobody's locked in. There we go. So if you're interested in this painting, or actually many paintings, you can contact Jay at Blue Egg Gallery in Fort Lauderdale at 508 508 680 6218. If you'd like pricing and information, call Jay, 508 680 6218. And I think I got that right. But the number will be posted below, but it's also posted below all my other paintings as well, or all my other videos. Ooh, I just found something and now I'm getting excited. Here's my blue. I'm literally digging it out of the tube, even though a friend, one of my Patreon followers, just sent me an Amazon gift card. I bought a bunch of paint, but forgot to get cobalt blue, so that was down. I've been using several different blues. I have cobalt, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's phthalo. I don't know. I just paint with it. Phthalo blue, magnesium blue, I think. I don't know, I've been painting with a whole bunch of them, and of course, radiant blue. Cerulean blue. I bought a huge tube of cerulean blue. Because I expected this dress and the patterns within it to be mainly cerulean. And it's ended up to be a total mix. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Yeah, in the reference material, the folds over here were straight up and down, but it was kind of widening her figure. They were straight up and down. It was highlighting this side of the figure and the dress and kind of widening it, which we don't want. So we're just going with gut and imagination. Not a bad deal. Seems to be working out reasonably well. So I don't know if you remember, there's a lot of so's coming out of my mouth. I don't know if you noticed or remember, but several videos ago, I talked about really trying to pressure the Biden administration and our people in the arts into doing a WPA type system. And I think people thought I was nuts to even mention it, to talk about it out loud, because it does make me sound nutty. But you know what? There are communities, and actually out in California, I heard that out in California they're actually implementing it. They're paying artists. Okay, can't see. Oh my God. Okay. So it may not have been that nutty after all. I know there are groups and individuals that have been fighting to keep culture and the arts alive, especially after the Trump administration. Anything Republican, because they don't care. I gotta get this tube open. That was becoming a convoluted mess. The other thing I've done is I follow Jerry Saltz. Oh my God. I follow New York Magazine art critic Jerry Saltz on Twitter and Instagram. Where is that glare coming from? Oh, it's coming from my door, my other door. Let's see. I'm covering up my front door now. There. I have there we go. Now I can see. On the opposite side of the room, just like on this side, there's a glass door, so light was coming in and causing a lot of glare, and I couldn't see. Now I can't see when I'm standing on top of it. Nope, it's not helping. Oh, I miss my studio in Providence. Overhead lighting. Not overhead lighting, but that north light that came in through the skylights was unbelievable. So perfect. Where's my little tube? So anyway, Jerry Saltz put out a couple of tweets about Hunter Biden's, I know saying his name just puts some people on edge. Lock him up, he's a criminal, blah, 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 whatever, dude. Oh yay, look at all that paint in there. Look at all that paint I can use. It's fabulous. Anyway, he was tweeting, about Hunter Biden's artwork and how it's mediocre. Well, duh. We all saw it. Thank you, Jerry, for being that art critic. But I also, he goes to museums and tweets about work going on in museums. Oh, that's fabulous. I love that color. Not really reviewing shows so much as paying homage to people we already know. We get it. Everybody already loves Francis Bacon. We get it, Jerry. So I actually tweeted him this morning because I got a little tired of his 3-tweet rant and Instagram rant about, the president's son selling mediocre artwork and getting these massive prices. So I tweeted him and suggested that he start doing a comparison contrast, because most of us aren't running to the Guggenheim, which was one of his last visits the other day. Most of us really don't give two shits about Hunter Biden and his crayon drawings. Most of us don't give a shit about MoMA. We're not going there. We can't. So I suggested this morning that since he has an unlimited access to artists that are actually more talented than Hunter Biden, instead of lamenting Hunter Biden's lack of abilities, or actually, he's really just beginning, why not review and do comparison contrasts of hard-working artists who can't get seen, that don't have that audience. I did it in a 3-part tweet. I know he saw them because he reads all of the interactions, but he liked the first tweet I sent out, first tweet comment I sent to him. And it's funny because we go back and forth on Twitter a lot. I love reading his tweets. Some of them are really funny. His reviews are fabulous. His Jerry's review of Alice Neal, the Alice Neal show that none of us will be able to go to, was so spot on and spectacular, and it showed so much depth and understanding. I loved reading it, but again, I'm not going to the Alice Neal show in New York. Neither are you, most likely. Neither are most of us. So take that platform and do something good with it. Again, he's the senior critic to New York Magazine. He's retweeted one of my works, one of my works. I hate it when people say that. One of my pieces. But we kind of tweet back and forth periodically. There was one tweet he sent out, what was it, a week ago? Where he called himself poor. And he was telling his audience how poor he is, and that pissed me off. He seems like a decent guy, but he also seems a lot like me, where, we get lost in our own heads. And get slightly myopic. And so I commented back because I thought it was an insult. an absolute insult to people who are actually poor, including me, and including you probably. I said poor is having a torn rotator cuff and not being able to afford medical care. I've been working with this torn rotator cuff for weeks now, and I literally couldn't lift my arm for a while, but I've been stretching and doing other stuff to make it work, and not roller skating, which is making me sad because I like roller skating. There's only so many times you can fall down, boom, boom, and it comes down to roller skating or painting, just like it came down to with the RSD that I have, exercising, working out, or painting. I had to make that choice. So anyway, because it was affecting my RSD, one hour in the gym was causing me to have to lay still for at minimum 24 hours. So I was so exhausted and in so much pain. Oh, that blew. So anyway, Jerry makes about $150,000 a year. He was offered another job where they offered him $250,000 a year. Like New York Magazine pays him $150,000 a year to be a critic, to write. This other online publication, which probably will be around for about 10 minutes, offered him $250,000 to quit the $250,000 a year to quit New York Magazine and come write for them online. And he made the decision to stay where he is, which I think is smart. But he was lamenting about being poor, and I'm like, try painting with a torn rotator cuff. Not being able to go to a doctor. You can't afford it. Not having any food, in the house. Having to rely on food pantries, like a lot of us do. And I went on and on. He apologized. Apparently somebody else found it just as insulting and kind of had a similar talk with him on Twitter. But he apologized to me in a tweet. And because of this other guy, not because of me, apologized to everyone in his audience because it really was kind of stupid. You're not poor if you're making $150,000 a year and have an international platform. So we kind of tweet back and forth, and like I said, he tweeted out one of my paintings, or one of the pieces that I've done. Another word I hate, pieces. It was a collage of it was actually a collage and oil. It was a mixed media piece. And I think he did it mainly to get me to shut up. But it's okay. I'll take it. Because he had unfortunately put out a tweet about women in the arts and how women in the arts need more representation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, here you are. You have a huge audience, you can make a huge impact, but instead you're not doing anything. So be that champion. And we went back and forth, and then he tweeted out one of my paintings. Like I said, it could have been to shut me up, but it seemed very specific as well. This cobalt is, and having the painting on this wall as opposed to you know, between the smaller walls is making all the difference. Seeing this so much clearer. When the light changes, I'll be able to open the windows again a little bit. Utilize that light as well. Now, because I paint on 2 canvases, I can take down the top and lift the bottom piece up and work on the basket. You can't see it yet, there's just lines for it. There's a sketched in basket that mirrors the basket over there. They're not really focal points, but they are important to the image. But so, having the two canvases, take off the top, lift the other one up. On this particular wall, on this side, I put screws in the wall so I can hang my work up and really see it at different heights. To your right, there's a fireplace. It's the back of a fireplace. It's a brick wall, so I have wood leaning up against it. Actually, the ramps to my scooter, when I'm gonna move, I have to load them into a U-Haul on ramps. So the ramps are actually behind the painting right now, holding it up, but usually they're against the fireplace. Back of the fireplace holding it up. Now in her necklace, as you can see, I'm adding some of this cobalt blue in different places, and wow, is it making it pop. Oh, so sore. This rotator cuff thing has made sleeping impossible. Now, it may seem kind of nutty. I realize how I look. I do look like a nutball sometimes, a lot of the time. It may seem kind of nutty, but it's also part of kind of throwing caution to the wind. It's not like Jerry Saltz is ever going to notice me if I sit there and be polite. But not just Jerry Saltz, but anyone in general. If I just sit by with my hands folded and my mouth shut, hoping maybe someday, one day, and it doesn't, really, what does it hurt? If we're not being seen and heard, what does it hurt to say, well, dummy, I'm sitting right here. Francis Bacon doesn't need another review. He's fine, he's dead. So, I don't feel it hurts at all to say, hi, you're wrong, and I'm still sitting here. talk about being catalysts for ourselves. We talk about being catalysts for each other. God knows I've talked about many, many artists that I really love on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Are you looking at my butt? Oh, God, I'm sorry. No one needs to look at that. Let's pick this up. Yesterday I was working with whatever blue that is, and I bought a really inexpensive tube of whatever blue that is, and it was just so oily and somewhat watered down that I was basically just pushing it around on the canvas. So I decided to put it on a piece of paper and let it dry out a little bit. The dry brush technique. And almost right away I could see a huge difference in the paint. Just looking at it. I use these little folds to help keep the eye moving. So we have lines coming down. We have folds up in here, up in here, up in here. Directing the eye up, but also down to here, to this little section, which pushes the eye this way, pushes the eye this way, and then what I just did is I added some lines coming down off of the really dark positions of the fold, pushing it down, coming this way. This shoves the eye back up this way, but then there's lines. Right in there. Kind of curving you up this way. I have almost unseeable lines over here, so you kind of jump a little bit, pushing over here, up and around and down. So the lines aren't just there to, mimic darks and lights and mimic folds. They're also there to help keep the eye moving. Once again, sorry about the big fat butt. Not roller skating, so it's getting larger. What we really need, let me check. What we really need to keep the eye moving and keep the painting flowing. It's like a line that way. So we've got like this circular motion kind of going on over here. up this tube, and I have this really beautiful blue. Start working on that big dark line that's been driving me crazy. This is still a train wreck, this little area. Oops. Drip, drip, drip. Oh, that's nice. The blue is actually helping to clarify some of the convoluted mess I have going on in colors and shapes and things. Colors and shapes I made when I was trying to be clever over there. We're not trying to be clever, but just trying to find the design. And drag some of the design, which is over here, over into this little portion, which was largely ignored. I think the lines I so wisely created over here using lights kind of stilted that. It's not helping to let the eye move, or to have the eye move, to kind of give it a direction. So it's going to be a lot of removing lights and color. I think this is the most I've ever tried to teach, if you can call this teaching. I'm going to focus too much on it. It's going to draw the eye too much to that one little section. Adding a little bit more uniform in color to here, so we're pushed back over this way. Oh, and once again, if you're interested in this, if you just want some pricing, you want some information, you can contact J. Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery, 508-680-6218. It's amazing. I remember his phone number. I don't remember anybody's phone numbers. Okay, we've got to, like, this is just too much over here. I'm gonna figure this out. There's too much going on. This helps. Because sometimes, a lot of the time, it's removing, for me, it's removing some of the detail. It's kind of heartbreaking because I work hard on the detail. But removing some of the detail to get the folds and to keep the eye moving around the painting. It has to be done. It's like a Penn and Teller trick. Yeah, it's like a Penn and Teller trick. So I just added these lights and I don't know if they're actually going to work. It'll take me a minute to process it. But I take the light over here, helps to kind of remove our focus on the detail that I have over there. I don't like that. Just too much. Too many lines going in one direction. Here we go. Too many white lines or radiant blue lines. And this is how we end up staying up till midnight painting. Lamenting and fixing and erasing and redoing. Pardon? told you this before, but one of the tricks I use, how's my hair going? Oh my God, I've got a Dumb and Dumber haircut going on now. One of my favorite tricks to seeing the work more clearly is to post it online. Nothing gets me to see what needs to be done clearer than public humiliation. So now what I'm doing is lightening up some different bits, and it's following absolutely no pattern that I had pre-planned or pre-laid out. It's actually the patterns of the brush strokes that I'm following. And I'm just kind of dipping in with little swirlies. Going like this, whoop, whoop. And it's literally just following brush strokes that are already applied. And that's going to remove some of my pattern. I don't care, it's going to work. Hopefully. And the larger broad strokes are going to lend themselves better to the scale of the painting. The larger brush strokes are also going to give the cloth more of a fluid feel. So I've got some of these shaped triangles and sharp triangles and lines for the folds, and these will soften it. These lighter, just whoosh lines will soften them and create another whole new pattern. So it's giving over to the brush strokes, giving over to the paint, and trusting that hopefully I'm not an idiot. Oh, you know what I should do, speaking of being an idiot? I should have this up on Facebook and Instagram instead of just standing here in my pajamas in front of you. Come on. Mom, I know you exist. I don't need another notification. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to say something that has me really, really on edge, and it's exactly why I didn't do videos. I didn't stick to my schedule this week. It's because Jay and I we had a great month last month. We had our best month. And so I was able to take care of a lot of things that I needed to take care of. And then I was expecting to have, we actually had a number of sales on the table, ready to go. And literally everyone has put their purchase on hold. Oh, I'm looking at myself on YouTube. I'm looking at myself on YouTube. Literally, Yeah, all of them have been put on hold till next month, which has sent my world into chaos, to be blunt. Um, and look at how it's cleaning up the whole painting. These big swoosh brush strokes. Again, not following the pattern really, following older brush strokes, highlighting them, mixing this cobalt blue with radiant blue is really calming everything down and making it flow. By the way, I'm sorry you can't see her head. She's way up there. I'm looking at myself on YouTube. Share. So it's literally sent my world into chaos. To be blunt. And I went from yay, yay, we've got all this stuff going on. This is so exciting too. Oh crap. I'm about to lose my internet and my phone. I think this is going to be my last day actually with my phone and internet. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at my account. I can't. The goal for this month was to sell 5 paintings. We've sold 1. And I get paid once it's delivered. Once the delivery person has dropped it at the door, that's when I get paid. So that's kind of the life of an artist, is you're always at the mercy, at the absolute mercy of other people. And you've always got your fingers crossed that shit like this won't happen. So I kind of have no other option but to say, look, if you've wanted one of my paintings, please contact Jay, contact Chasing Galleries, contact Rafael Coelho at Art Front Galleries in New Jersey. Because right now, the food pantry is my best friend. What did I do with that little tube? Oop, those are my shorts. Did anyone see what I did with my little tube of cobalt blue? Oh, for crying out, oh, there it is. I mean, there's a multitude of ways you can help support Catalysting Company and me, and keep me painting and help me to help other artists. There are a multitude of ways. There's TeePublic. You can buy items on TeePublic. You can provide monthly support through Patreon. Or you can just buy my artwork. Call Jay, set up a payment plan. Call up Chasing Gallery, set up a payment plan. And I had to think for the last few days, how do I say this in a really cheerful, inspiring way? But the bottom line is, I have no safety net anymore. This is it. Painting is it. I was collecting unemployment for a long time. that's done, and I shouldn't have to. So if you've been thinking about buying a piece of my work, please call the galleries. All the links are down below. You can send me tips through Cash App, PayPal. But honestly, one of the best things you can do is invest in the work. Because God knows eventually Jerry Saltz is going to get tired of me mouthing off at him and actually, or he might think about being more helpful. Less, oh look, dead artist at MoMA, and more, hey, look what's available now in today's world. Something he laments about but doesn't do. I hope you can pick this up. How the fabric, these little swooping lines are really softening up the material and helping to bring it all together, because all the mix of blues, was interesting, but it wasn't lending itself well to the overall painting. So now we're using this one consistent blue, cobalt blue mixed with radiant blue, going over all of it. Like in here, I've got a lot of teal. So we're going over all of it with just little swipes of my filbert, my one little filbert brush, which I love filberts. Filberts are not only versatile, they're also fun to talk about, because there's very little fun in saying flathead brush, but saying filbert is immensely entertaining. Yeah, this is really doing it, because it's taking away all the teeny tiny shapes, not kind of erasing them, but helping them to pull into the background, to add more design and idea. But the larger brush strokes are making the painting pop. That. So I realized this video probably on the channel till, which is not going to make life easier for me, but just letting you know. That's why I disappeared again. I'm trying to figure out how to say it without crying. But your old pal here is struggling, really, really struggling. Oh my God, I'm so happy with this. Yeah, the bills have piled up. My account went in the red, which is embarrassing to say, but my bank account went into the red last week. And because all these sales fell through, I've been really screwed. Not fell through, but went on hold. And then we had people that were bugging me to do commission work and then never followed through. Just fucking asinine. Being an artist is dumb. It's also the greatest thing in the world. I was listening to Anthony Bourdain, Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential this week. I miss Anthony Bourdain. I loved him. Anthony is somebody I talk to. I ask our old friend Anthony Bourdain for guidance sometimes. So, and it's funny because sometimes when I do, and I thought, listen, Anthony helps lead me. But I was listening to Kitchen Confidential, and I love listening to him talk. Because that's a guy who really, 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 really struggled his whole life with fitting in, with finding his place in the world. So he speaks from experience. And he is absolutely adamant that once you figure out where you're supposed to be, you stay there and you push, and you keep pushing till other people see you and other people recognize your abilities. He also pushes don't be a dick, because he was. And it didn't help him. Ouch. Look at how nice and soft. I don't know how much the camera can pick up. But this sleeve was so harsh with the lines I had originally put down. Now it's more flowy. Pardon me. And if you'll also notice, may also notice that yeah, I'm running back to my painting table and grabbing another brush load of paint, but I'm not over there mixing it to perfectly match the line I just put down, the continuation of the color or the light and the dark of the line I just put down. I'm just letting the paint and the brush dictate. Whatever happens, happens. And it's working out beautifully. I just got a nice light, almost grayish, cobalt blue line right here. And then I turned the brush, whipped it down there, and it's almost like a white. And they're lending themselves well to one another. Just letting the color dictate. Letting the brush and whatever happens on my painting table dictate. So I'm not telling the painting what it should be doing. Or I'm not telling the paint what it should be doing. I'm listening to the paint. I'm allowing it to do its job. All right, let's put it in an Anthony term. Instead of trying to force an overpriced sea bass to taste like an overpriced fillet, we're just allowing the sea bass to be what it is. How's that? By doing so, by listening to the paint, by letting the sea bass be the sea bass, we're going to come out with something infinitely more beautiful that I, in my limited thought, could ever come up with. Letting the paint talk. Or direct. Letting the paint direct, let's put it that way. I'm still not liking this. Yeah, I can see a ton of colors I've put in over time. The greens in the chair, and I'm not, the turquoise rather, the different shades of turquoise that I have in the chair, I put into the design. Now I'm just kind of evening it out. I'm not removing them. Still want the teals from the lions to tie into the dress. The orange, she has orange in her face. I know it's not terribly clear. It's in the dress. The orange in her staff is in the dress. The orange is in her little toes that you can't see on that right now. It's in her sandal down below. So it's orange, 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 orange all the way around with a little bit of orange in the dress, which is almost imperceptible. The greens are out to the side. They're mixed into the gray, the grayish wall color. The greens are also in the staff, of course, or the turquoises rather in the staff, in the walls, of course in the chair, in the dress, and also in her little tippy toes down below. See? Tippy tippy toe. So if you've ever wanted to paint like me, now you know how. Just let it flow. So soft now. Where's my stool? I think I need a stool. No. This painting is called Queen. For pricing and info, you can call J. Luiz, our pal J. Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery. Let me do this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. For pricing and info, you can call our pal J. Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery in Fort Lauderdale at 508-680-6218. For other work, you can contact J. Luiz, or you can go through my website and see what's available through Artfront Galleries in Newark, New Jersey. Artfront Galleries, my pal Raphael Coelho, who I love. We love our Raphael. He can show you what he has, or you can find it on my website. So anyway, it's J. Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery in Fort Lauderdale, Raphael Coelho at Art Front Galleries, and then of course Andrew and Mark at Chasing Galleries here in Sarasota. I'm just putting in some triangles which indicate slightly some folds, but again, just following through with the cobalt blue. So I tie in this really beautiful cobalt blue that's up above, down below. We're tying it all together and softening. Don't look at my butt, it's gross. No, I thought since I'd stopped roller skating to let my shoulder kind of stop hurting for a few minutes a day. I stopped roller skating, so it stopped falling on my shoulder. I thought I put on, oh, wow, maybe 10, 15 pounds. I lost, 75 pounds? I lost 75 pounds, and I thought I started gaining it all back because I'm getting wider and gushier. Turns out I only gained back about 5 pounds, which I didn't think was too bad. It certainly isn't from eating, it's from not roller skating. I need to start roller skating because I was losing the ability to walk. So, talk about a conundrum. So again, just adding a mix of cobalt blue and radiant blue down below and following the brush strokes that are already there. Oh, okay, up, down, up, down. Because we've got to continue this idea of consistent color, cobalt blue, consistent color, they're high. We've got to follow the idea, what we started up above with consistent color and these swoopy brush strokes, we've got to follow them down below. Can't leave an inch untouched. funny how one missed opportunity on a painting can help the whole thing collapse. So once we get done with me blathering on camera, I'll shut it off, and I will be going inch by inch. To make sure this cobalt blue mixture is everywhere. I haven't left any single inch out. So in case you're just finding me and, you know, you missed all the exciting stuff, all my exciting chatter, we've got this painting up against my back door, which is a glass door. So this is being held up with 2 other paintings and the ramps I use to get my scooters loaded and unloaded out of U-Haul trucks. But it's up against the back door because this studio space I work in isn't very wide. It's like, what, 10, 11 feet wide? And what I really needed was the length of the room and to be able to see this more clearly. Now that cobalt blue mixture, I don't know if you recall, but these little shapes they were painted with Payne's gray and black, I think. They were very, very dark. I've already gone over them with some cobalt blue. I'm just gonna hit them up again. These are shapes that I spray painted on, and I ended up hating them. They were too flouncy. Too flouncy, too many details. So I did paint them over with the Payne's gray, but then I started going over the Payne's gray with this cobalt blue yesterday. And it's transformed the painting, one aspect of the painting. Again, I'm not highlighting these. They're kind of a cross between a rectangle and an oval, like an old school frame, picture frame. Pardon me again. But once again, I'm not highlighting the shape that I had not only originally put down and then decided to scrap, but the shapes that I stuck with. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something because I can't sit on the floor and do that. Okay, but I didn't just stick with the shapes. Like, this is the shape I chose in the beginning. This is what we're going to use. I smoothed them over with a mixture of Payne's gray, a little bit of transparent earth red, which you can see on the edges of them, in the center of them, just slightly. But then I've been going over it with the cobalt blue. So we're going to take down the top portion of Queen. Say goodbye to Jessica. Say bye-bye, Jessica. We're going to put you to the side for now. Oop, oop, oop. Oh, God. can see, there's abstract gecko. I pulled that out. One of my neighbors wanted to see it. My neighbors have all been in the house to see work, and we unwrapped that one, and I didn't like the edges that I do on them. So that's a mental note for me to fix it. And we've got Toulouse-Lautrec down below. Get another one of these. Doo-ba-doo. Oh, so while we're doing this, hi, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, formerly Studio 120, and we're doing studio mate in another state. Something I probably haven't done in about a year since Bugsy died. I just haven't had the whatevers. Here we go. So here's the bottom half of Queen back again. Here's the bottom half of Queen so we can actually see it and work on it. The upper half is feeling really, really flowy. I just caught a quick glance and it's feeling super, super flowy. So we're going to make sure that flow comes down to this end. Where's my tube? Where's my little tube? Oh, there you go, the dog. My friend Dana gave me this little dog a while ago. It was after Bugs died. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. This guy is a doorstop, so he's a nice little weight. Sometimes he sits on my chest when I'm feeling particularly sad that I don't have my Bugsy anymore, which is about to happen, so I'm going to shut up about it. All right, again, just like the swoopy brush strokes. No pre-plan, it's just swoopy brush strokes, feeling where the paint wants to go. Letting it tell me where to go. Okay, that didn't come out right. Letting the paint tell me where it needs to be. Letting the brush direct me. How's that? Connect that fold right there. Got this fabulous line here. It's not lending itself well to the painting, so we're going to find another way to make it work. You see how easy it's just plop, plop, plop. I'm not doing that artistic thingy where you hold your palette out and Just letting the paint direct me, the brush strokes direct me. Letting the color tell me where it needs to be. That took decades to understand. But if you've got the good bones, if you've got the basic structure, you've got the basic design. You know, there's a point to me in painting, a finishing line. And the direction to that finishing line is up, should be coached by the brush strokes. Whoops. Oh, my battery's dying. Hang on. On. Okay, see if this helps. Okay, so the battery may have shut off the camera. But we're all plugged in now. So we got a couple more minutes. So what I was saying before, I was probably cut off. Oh, now where's my tube? Here you are. Of course you're on the floor. There's a finishing line. There's a particular point in the painting where you, as the artist, as a painter, as a human being, have done your job. You've laid out the basics. How much glare do you have? Okay. You've laid out the basics. You've done all the I'm going to be the director of the ship. And then you've just got to let the paint. Then you've just got to let the paint and the brush tell you what's up. What's up, MF? And that's where I am now. And that's what's going to bring me to the finish line. That and finishing that basket over on the left-hand side. God, I'm so glad I cut this little MF open. That's all this needed was this one broad, bold blue. It's bringing this bold blue, this cobalt is bringing everything together, softening up the hard angles, making the cloth more flowy, making it feel more natural. It's perfection in a tube. Oh, kitty. come on in. Come on. Yeah. I was blocking out the light by having paintings up against my front door. But then little kitty couldn't come and go out the doggy door or the kitty door. Right, kitty? He says, you will pay for this later. You will pay for your transgressions later. Right, you know what? I think maybe we'll take a short break. This is going along swimmingly. I can feel it. There's a feeling I get in the center of my head when the paint and the brush is actually helping me to see the finish line and to pull me there. And I can feel it. It's coming on. We really are almost to the end of this, except for, again, the stupid basket on the left-hand side that I haven't touched. And I also want to soften up the lower part of the painting, because she's sitting on kind of a whitish stage, and we need shadowing. And I've got the shadowing, I've got the whitish, but we've got to soften it up and really make it feel natural. Not make it feel like an afterthought. I'm so excited by this cobalt blue. And it's funny because this has been sitting, this particular tube was sitting in one of my boxes of paints that I put to the side. You know, I'm so used to working with tiny tubes of paint that I put this little guy, this big guy rather, to the side. And it was tucked in with some browns and other things that my friend Leslie sent me. Wesley Huffman. He sent me these several years ago. And I pull them out and I look at them, and then I go, rainy day paint. It's like having food in a pantry. It's rainy day paint. And I found it again on the perfect rainy day, so to speak. I found it again just when I needed it. All right, let me find my little okay, this only partly applies. We're going to take a short break, and then I'll come back, and we'll just keep going, because this is working out pretty well, I think. We've been on for over an hour. Let's put this up, because my easel is actually stuffed in back of something, and I don't really want to bother with it. So we're going to put this up. I'm going to go wash my hands. I'm going to go stare outside for a few minutes, and then I'll be right back. I'm Beck Lane. I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. If you'd like to help support Catalyst and Company, you can go to Patreon, where you can supply monthly support. Monthly support starts at $5 a month and goes from there. You can go to TeePublic and purchase my stuff, my images on t-shirts and things, on t-shirts, prints, posters, coffee mugs, that kind of thing. So TeePublic, Patreon, TeePublic, you can send tips in through Cash App, PayPal. All the links are down below all of my videos. Or you can call one of my galleries and purchase a painting. I'm not going to do this. Purchase a painting, start a payment plan. Maybe you've seen an image you like, or something that, or you'd like to start collecting art. You can get it through payment plans. You can go on my website, see the different galleries, who has what. You can give them a call, and everybody's really, really nice. But that would be awesome, Possum, if you've been thinking about getting some of my work, but you haven't followed through. Do us a solid and inquire, because as I was saying earlier, unfortunately, I've had a number of sales go on hold for a month or so, and it sent my little world of survival into a tizzy. In case you missed it, I was saying the food pantry is right now my best friend. So, if you've been thinking about it but you haven't, now's would be a really terrific time. We've had people talking to me about commissions, and then, oh, I gotta do that before we take a break. Talking to me about commissions and then not following through. By the way, if you're an artist, if you're just starting out, that is the life of an artist. It's really frustrating, it's aggravating, and you end up sending out hate tweet. No, you end up tweeting with Jerry Saltz and telling him, hi, you know, there are artists alive who could use your help. You missed that conversation. All right, let's stick to our word and take a break. I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'm just gonna go sit outside for a minute, drink some water and coffee, take a little break, and then I'll come back and we'll keep working on it. All right, I'm going to share with you, God, I hate having company, and yet I can't stop talking to you. You know what's really funny is, you know, I get like so many, take this down for a sec, like so many artists, I get so angry and frustrated and jealous and just like feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. Because I watch these people on TikTok, you know, I get TikTok notices and their stuff pops up, but TikTok and Instagram with people who have very sorry, but are mediocre. They're mediocre, but they're skinny pretty and they can dance around in a bikini or put on a short skirt, and they go, and people go, oh my God, I love your stuff. And all of a sudden they're making tons of dough. And here I am, I'm trying to combat that. I'm trying to be like, hi, I'm a real artist and please buy my work like a normal person. But I'm running around not showering for days because all I do is work. I just caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I'm unwashed. My hair is sticking out everywhere. I'm in a paint shirt I've been wearing for 3 days with my pajama bottoms and no shoes. And I had paint all over my head until a second ago. I really do kind of contradict everything in life. Every popular thing. This is called being a real old school painter. Look, let's make this decorative. Take my tiny claws. Make this pretty. And so I don't lose that again, my cobalt blue. All right, I'm gonna take a break, be right back. Here's my phone. See something. Let's see. I just took a look at my phone and this is pretty blurry. Where's the camera? Okay. I don't know if the connection is slow or what it is. Let's see. Okay, so we are kind of taking a live break, although I see there are 3 people on, and I just saw some notes. This is the bottom half. We'll take a break in a sec. This is the bottom half of an 8-foot tall painting called Queen, to answer one question. And the inspiration was from a photo shoot that a friend of mine, Jessica, up in, or a friendly acquaintance of mine up in Rhode Island did. Jessica Brown, she's an instructor, a professor, a teacher, and a social activist in Providence, Rhode Island. She teaches at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. She did this fabulous photo shoot. There's someone in my front yard. She did this fabulous photo shoot, and the image struck me. This strong black woman surrounded by all this white art at the RISD Museum. And it just made such a statement to me because, okay, this is the bottom half, so all you're seeing is the lower half of her skirt. But it was such a strong statement about the arts to me. Women are, what? Who is that? So anyway, women, as we know, are on the lower rung in museums and galleries and pricing in the art world. But black and brown women especially have a more difficult time, have a much harder time than someone like me, a white person, getting in museums and galleries. And so what I wanted to say in this particular painting was, this is the future. That's how her image hit me, was this is the future. Deal with it. But, you know, we see all these girls running around in shirts that say, female is the future, or women are the future. Why does it have to be the future? Why can't it be now? So the original name of the painting, again, we're looking at the lower half, the top half is sitting over there, was Queen of the Future, or Queen Future, or Future Queen. It was going back and forth. And I'm like, no, why do we have to keep waiting? Why can't we exist in museums? Why can't we be in the art world now? All of us, everyone that's been left behind. Why is this continuing? And so, but especially for black and brown figures, artists I love, I go into museums looking for Vanessa German, who's someone I've talked about quite a bit, Gahinda Wiley, who people know. Why isn't my friend in Mississippi, Leonard Maiden, why isn't he being widely collected? Why isn't he being seen? Never mind that, you know, I have to struggle, and I am going to the food pantry because who knows what is up with people. But if I'm struggling, you know, how do these people feel knowing, well, Vanessa's actually in museums, I can't complain on her behalf. Vanessa's actually doing extremely well. She's performed at Lincoln Center. She's being collected around all over the country. She's brilliant, but she's still having a tough time. But we don't know her name. Like, she isn't widely recognized. Why aren't the Jerry Salts of the world recognizing her? Leonard Maiden is brilliant. Gahinda Wiley has, thank God, been lifted. It was through the Black community and shows like, what's it? Sorry about the music industry family that I watched and loved because it reminded me of Shakespeare. Empire. His work was featured on Empire. You know, his people got behind him and lifted him and brought him, lifted him. Which is part of the point of this. We need to lift each other and help each other. We're Catalyst and Company. So I forgot. Anyway, that's Jessica, or that's the bottom of her dress. She's a social activist. She's brilliant, and that one image was everything that I felt. I have felt about museums forever. I dig through museums trying to find artists who don't look like me, artists who I'm not related to, like Gainsborough. We're all set on Gainsborough. So, anyway, she's now not the future queen, she is the queen. I'm gonna go find out who's on my lawn, and I hope that answered the questions that I didn't see earlier. Okay, coming back. I was just looking at Facebook, and I belong to a page that, let's see if we can raise this up a little bit. There we go. I've been listening to a page, I think it's I Am an Artist on Facebook, and all these inexperienced artists, you know, they post their frustrations. And so I've been just trying to be a little bit more encouraging, but one thing that pops up a lot is, you know, when they post their frustrations, I hate this answer to their frustrations. Do it for the love of art. Don't worry about selling blah, blah, blah. People denigrate trying to sell artwork as an artist, and I find it frustrating. So I try and encourage people instead. And a part of the typical answer is Van Gogh never sold a piece of artwork in his life, which I thought too. But I've been listening to an audiobook that's a letter where the reader is reading letters between Vincent and Theo, not Leo. Let's correct that. Vincent and his brother Theo, and he actually did sell work. He sold it. He primarily sold when he lived in England for a little while, in London. He did sell some smaller pieces and certain pieces, and people were eating it up, and I don't understand why he left. He tended to move a lot, and I know that one. But I thought it was really interesting because I was under the impression that he didn't sell either, but it turns out he did. And you can hear in the letter how selling artwork was, it lifted him, it validated his existence, and, you know, and helped to support him. He thought he was on his way to being self-sufficient. So I'm just texting back my answer. There, I'm just going to leave it at that. I've been listening to an audio reading of his letters to Theo. He did sell some work in London, and the sales lifted him. I hate it when people tell other art. This is one of my pet peeves. And unfortunately, I've perpetuated it as well. The myth that he didn't sell, that our big brother, you know, one of our totems, Vincent van Gogh, didn't sell artwork while he was alive. That was my understanding, and it was incorrect. He did. Okay, now I'm going to plug in my phone. Now, I'll go find a stool instead. Or a chair. Okay, I'm just going to grab another one of these gray chairs, and we're going to continue on with the cobalt blue, applying cobalt blue in varying shades throughout the lower part of the dress. Now that it's up and somewhere I can reach it, and again I've moved it from one of the two, oh my god, here, from one of the two spots or walls that I normally paint against, up against my back door, so that I have more room. And when I'm walking back and forth between my painting table and here, I take a quick look, and my head clicks. My head sees where I need to go next, and then I'm letting the paintbrush and the paint direct where it needs to go. I'm letting it decide what shades the paint is going to be. I put my trust in paint at this time, at this point in the painting. I don't direct it, I let it direct me. And I let that natural understanding really be my compass. The natural understanding that I've kind of developed. I let it direct me instead of me directing it, or me directing, you know, trying to conduct the whole thing. I now let it go into jazz mode. Again, it's just swipes. I'm not, you know, using a little brush. I'm trying to smooth out the fabric, give it more grace, and just letting it flow with my little filbert brush, and doing little swipies. Again, it's just a quick look. A very quick glance, and from there it's up to the brush and the paint. What are we going to do? Yeah, so I follow this Facebook page. I am an artist. I really am a snob about art and artwork. And I don't like it when people are pretentious and they pretend that they're above their abilities or above their level. I don't appreciate that. The people that are pounding their chests the largest, say, you know, or the hardest, are usually just blowhards. And those I don't deal well with that. But for people who are like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I try and help, just kind of coach them, not like I'm the end-all be-all. But I remember being there. Like, I don't understand. Why isn't this coming out the way I want it to? So my unsolicited advice is usually go on YouTube. Look at techniques. Look at materials. How people are using them, mediums, colors. There was one person who posted yesterday, this poor woman who just felt so lost, and she, you know, she was lamenting because she posts her artwork online and then she isn't getting a great response. Well, her work wasn't really terrific, but she put herself out there, made herself vulnerable, and I know how that feels when you make yourself vulnerable to the world. And people were coming back with, again, just do art for art's sake. Well, F that, that's stupid. This girl, I am assuming, would like to be selling on the, you know, would like to be selling and she's not. She's seeing the same things we all are, where, you know, girls in crop top shirts and shorts are getting all the attention. And it frustrated her. So I shared some of my stories and shared stories about friends I have who are hanging at the Smithsonian. And they're still struggling on a level that they shouldn't have to. So I shared some of my stories about contracts and promises being made and none of it being followed through on by people who could have changed my life. Instead took advantage of me in my artwork. And kept saying to her, you're not alone, you're not alone, and you're not, you know, trying to, now I'm not sure if I was trying to help her more or just help myself, placate myself. But you're not alone, and you're not a failure. And especially in making herself so vulnerable. And what she wasn't looking for answers like just do artwork for art's sake. That's fucking ridiculous. So someone came back at me, and I also shared with her, because she's on antidepressants, she's having such a hard time dealing with this weird, you know, world of ambivalence. That she's on antidepressants, and so I said, I'm on Celebrex. And if it weren't for that, I'd probably be lying in a ditch somewhere. I know I would. So this woman came back and she's like, you know, all you did was boost your ego. And you didn't give her any help. And I was like, I was telling her stories so she knows she's not alone. Telling her stories like we do here. You're not alone. You're really not alone. People see my artwork, and I hear it literally every day. They think I'm a super successful and I'm super successful and I'm just fine and I'm at the top of the ladder, and I'm not. I'm a 58-year-old woman painting in her pajamas on YouTube. Let's get a grip. I'm a 58-year-old woman who's still screaming at the world, hi, I'm here, like Horseshack on Welcome Back, Kotter. Ooh, ooh, I'm here. Ooh, pick me. hopefully in a few minutes when we reassemble the painting, this is going to have the flow the feel, the color that it needed to have to feel complete. Or as Sweeney Todd would say, I am complete again. So we're still just following old brush strokes. No particular pattern, just following old brush strokes, old colors, not covering some of the colors and shapes up, exposing some colors and shapes. And the glare is horrendous. Letting lines that would indicate folds in the cloth expose themselves through those lines and shapes. Sorry, I'm burping a lot. I haven't eaten yet today. We are measuring out our food. We cannot eat as often as we would like. And that makes me burp. Remedy some of this glare if I can. Oh, hooray. Still a lot of teal down here, so we're just gonna do this. Notice I'm not standing back and being a pretentious, old school painter where you're humming and hawing and, oh, the perfect brush stroke will go here. I just give it a quick glance when I walk over to the painting table. Again, the paint, just grabbing a little bit of paint, applying it, and letting it direct me. Like a baseball coach. Oops. Thought about that too much. I actually put my thought into that and it did work. So if you're just finding me, I'm Beck Lane, this is Catalyst and Company. We're doing something I call Studio Mate in another state, something I used to do regularly but haven't since my dog died, and we're doing it today. And yes, I am in my pajamas. I'm in a painting shirt I've been wearing for 3 days and my pajama bottoms. But at least I put a bra on. Let's be grateful for that. And if you're just finding this and even remotely interested, this is the bottom half of a painting called Queen. I tend to paint on 2 canvases because it's trickier and it's more interesting than doing one gigantic large piece, which, you know, for this would be 8 feet high, 5 feet wide. I find this way more interesting. Plus I can move it around the studio easier and then do things like this. Lift the bottom half up and get work done. Instead of struggling with one panel. You know, because I'm just kind of swiping along. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to look once we put the 2 panels together. I have kind of a clue because I've done enough of these. I know I've done enough where I know not to worry about it too much. That the paint and the brush will always direct me correctly. Okay, let me shut this off for a sec, the light. Yeah. Okay, now we're in the dark. But it was just too much glare. It was a blinding, blinding glare. Already put a lot of teal down up here, I mean cobalt blue down up here, but the paint is telling me to make those shades just a little bit lighter. What is that paint? Make it lighter? Because it's getting lost? Okay. Another one of my favorite things to do, besides going over brush strokes relentlessly and making these bizarre shapes, is, that you probably can't see, is something else that I just forgot. It'll come back. Yep, totally forgot what I was going to tell you. It was a great one too. It was a really good hint. When I'm coming, and this is not what I was going to tell you, but, or what I was going to share with you, but when I'm coming across the floor from my painting table to here, and I do just that quick glance while I'm lumbering across the floor. I give the paintings a quick glance to see what's visible from across the room, because as we know, my eyesight is spotty. It's not terribly good. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. So there's two things. I take a quick glance and I see if this registers in my head from across the room. If the image feels, it doesn't just look correct, but it feels correct from across the room. Because we want this to translate well in different lighting situations, distances. You know, we don't, when viewers are seeing our work, we don't give them a tape measure and stand exactly 5 feet away, and that way it'll make sense. We need to make sure that it feels natural, looks balanced, and engages the viewer wherever they're standing. It's not always going to happen, but just something I try and do. So the viewer, no matter where they're standing, there's something to engage with or to interact with. And the other thing, since I'm chatty Cathy again today, the other thing I like to do, or another painting tip, painting tips from Beth. The other painting tip I'd like to give is when you put down a dark, put down a really nice lighter version or a light color next to it, and they'll both pop. That's something it took me forever to figure out. When I stand back, I'm letting my head see where the teal is really standing out. And take a quick look and see if that's working. If it's not, I'm just going over it a little bit. I've lost a couple of shapes and ideas that I did want to include in painting, so I'm just gonna make sure they do pop back out again. They're not in the original reference material. For the most part, these are shapes and patterns I've made up. You can't see much of anything, or I can't see much of anything in the reference material. So most of this is of my design. Now with about 100 layers of paint on it. Laid them out in aerosol first, as I do with all my paintings. Black and white, we start off with black and white gesso. We go in with, we as in me, go in with aerosols, put in the colors and shapes. And then we as in me starts going over it with oils, and that's what we're looking at now. Okay, I think we're pulling this into the finish line. Oh no, forget about those lines. Then I'll show you a couple of signature things that I've done on top of like the complexity and the bizarreness of how I paint. There are certain signatures in my painting. The color choices, the brush strokes are one, and I'm not patting myself on the back. What I'm trying to do is, help people think about what their artwork. I'll show you one because it's staring me at the kneecaps right now. You see the foot down below? The foot, the feet. They're not actually fully painted in. The toes, the feet, the sandals, they're not fully painted in, fully fleshed out. I find that boring. And then we're more worried about, do we have the right brown or do we have the right shape of the toe? And I find that really uninteresting. One of my signatures is sometimes just outlining an idea. Just using an outline. So like on this foot, we've got very few brush strokes, it's mainly outlined. She's in the shadow anyway. This little foot is crossed over. She's got her knees crossed over, and it's just a shadow. So that really doesn't need, we don't need to distinguish one toe from another. It's unnecessary. And on her left foot, she's crossed over. The foot right here, it really is just the outline of the toes and a couple of quick brush strokes to indicate toes. That's it. Pretty much like everything. All right, let me say one more thing. This Chatty Cathy, let's go. A few more swipes. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to stack the two canvases on top of one another, and we'll see how she does. Let's turn the light back on. Move the camera back a little bit. My little iPad. Let's get stuff out of the way so I don't knock things over and break them again. Hello, little. This stand is broken. Just like my scooter, the stand is being held together with duct tape. That's how the brand new iPad that people on Patreon have helped me to pay for is being held up on a broken plastic stand with duct tape. You're welcome. This hurts. Okay. This Speaking of duct tape and scooter, I fell on it again. Started tipping over at the grocery, or sorry, not at the grocery store, in a parking lot. I think I went to the Dollar General the other day. It fell over, and my scooter, my little duct tape scooter, the handlebar finally had enough. I snapped off the mirror, the one last mirror, or the one that wasn't broken. I broke that off. Oh, fuck. And broke off one of the brakes, the handlebar portion of the brake. So now that's all being held together with duct tape. I had the carburetor to my little old buddy replaced. But it stopped running, and my mechanic has cancer, so I can't get him out to fix it because, you know, he has a couple of other things to deal with in life. Okay, I think it's tying together nicely. What we're gonna do? That. Remember, we're doing swipes. It's not precise, it's just swipes. And it's to keep the fabric moving. Keep it in motion. Can't see something, there we go. Really want it to feel flowy. I think this line that I was in love with has got to go. It's not serving a purpose, it's not helping. Neither is the swipey thing I just put in. Again, it's not planning out, it's not this long gaze with my beret on and humming and hawing. It's going, what do you need me to do? What do we need to do here? Little paintbrush. Little tube of leftover paint. Painting with ease and confidence, knowing it's all going to be fine, or at least wanting to believe so. Oh, hell to the yes. I just connected up some lines with varying shades of cobalt blue. We're going to do the same thing over here. So it's, again, adding to the flow. letting the colors kind of blend together a little bit. The brush strokes blend together. My hand is telling me to go swipe, so my hand in the brush. There's something still horribly wrong about right there. Horribly, horribly wrong, she said in her nasally, hopefully comforting tone. Yeah, I needed to lose that line. That was, or at least lose it for the moment. Again, this is Queen. She is much taller than me. She is 8 foot by 5 foot. She's on 2 panels, 2 4-foot by 5-foot panels. And she's available through J. Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery in Fort Lauderdale. Phone number is 508-680-6218. 508-680-6218. You're welcome. I remembered. And in case you missed it earlier, I was expecting 5 sales this month. We have had 1. So my little artist life here has been sent into a tizzy. If you've thought about purchasing more, contact Jay. You can contact Chasing Galleries here in Sarasota, Florida, land of crazy people, or J. Luiz up in Newark, New Jersey at Artfront Galleries, and all the links are down below all my videos. Nope. That little portion is just determined to be a pain in the ass. We have payment plans. Yeah, we've had a number of people who wanted commissions over the past few months, just kind of who knows what, and purchases just go through. We had one I was so certain was going overseas, and the poor person, the poor buyer, poor collector really, really wanted it, but the tariffs and taxes going into her country just exceeded what she was able to do. So that happens. And then we've got the other art deal, the really, really big one that has talked about it a long time ago. Probably 2 months ago. The investor on that one dragging his feet. That's awesome. Because he can. not like anybody's waiting and depending on them, so. People are ridiculous. And I can say this out loud because he doesn't even pay attention to me, so. So a lot of my plans, a lot of my bills are coming due, and I'm about to lose my internet, as I talked about earlier. So if you thought about buying a painting, I'm about to lose my phone, my internet, so if you thought about it, that would be an awesome time. This particular painting was being shown to a couple of collectors on the west coast of Florida, I believe. But no one's committed to it yet. So if you're interested, please contact Luiz. Oh, I done it. I no longer hate that section. Yay. Kind of went over the cuff on that side with a mix of radiant blue, cobalt blue, and transparent earth red. So it's not completely popping out and looking silly. This side, because the glare is looking more purplish, I'm just going to hit it again with the same mixture. Don't you love it when artists just tell you, hi, I'm really hungry and my bills have to be paid? Oh, I know why it looks purple over there, because it was purple. There's actually, this is a bag. There's a purple bag hanging over the side with some embroidery on it. And there's actually a purple handle hanging over the side that I just kind of blocked out and mixed in with the cobalt. So let's fix that. The purple that I'm using is a purple I can't pronounce. It starts with a Q. You can correct me later. I like it very, very much, especially for underpainting. I can't pronounce that. The same purple is up in her turban up above. It's layered in her pants, the security guard's pants, and then there's a little bit of it. Let's add a little bit more. Up in here. Okay, now I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to work on, there's a basket over in this corner that I've referenced several times, the outline for it, and I need to hang it up on one of my walls so I can really get to it. Okay. But I've got to get to a lot more in the lower portion of the painting. I have to highlight some of the embroidery in the bag that's hanging over her chair. Let's move this. In the bag that's hanging over, the handle is hanging over the chair. Bag is sitting right here. I've got a lot of highlighting to do in there, or some rather. Then I've got this basket sitting over here. It's going to mirror that one. And then there's the shading, the lighting and shading down below. Her throne is seated on a stage. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done. Look, I'm throwing in that purple that I can't pronounce. Look at that. That's super. Let's just put a little hint. That's more pink than purple. Don't want the pink. I'm saying no to the pink. And just little hints. So we're tying not just the bag, the purpley bag over here. We're not just tying it into the rest of the painting, but we're helping it to facilitate flow. Wow. Take a little bit of that off. We don't need all of that. Ooh. Just found something magical. Added some of the purple to the dark ovally, rectangularly kind of shapes. And that's actually translating well across the room too. Notice I'm not sticking my butt up in the air, because that would be weird. Oh. I'll tell you something, I worked on crouching for 2 years. Because of my illness, my legs stopped bending. So I started practicing scrunching up in a chair and crouching. And if I do it enough, I can actually get all the way down, which is awesome. Because really, I was walking like Frankenstein. Ugh. Nobody needs to see my butt sticking in their face. These little highlights, I don't know how it looks from where you are, but these little highlights from across the room actually make this feel more alive. These little purple quinine seed, whatever it is, purple, really just make this bounce with life. Happy accident. And again, it wasn't me dictating where the paint is going, what color. It was just a, oh, I got it. So why don't we just stick some over here? I got it on my brush, so let's just put some down. We're also being a tad cognizant of which way the brush strokes are going, so that they're not just plop, 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 but they're actually helping to direct the eye around the painting, around the image of Jessica Brown. Clean. So right now I'm actually going to mixture of the QUI, whatever the paint is, QUI purple, and I'm mixing it in with a little bit of cobalt and a little bit of Payne's gray, so I can maximize the use of the color, keep the flow going with the brush strokes, with the color, but not saying, hi, that paint I can pronounce is over here now. Oh, crouch. Crouch. Just kind of a, it registers without registering. It registers without being blatant, let's put it that way. When I look at the painting, when I get up close, I can see all these chalk marks that have been left from sketching it in and re-sketching it in. Oh, ow. Look at how good I crouch now. 2 years I worked on that. Two years I worked on getting my knees to bend. Oh, the QUI, whatever it is, purple, that I just mixed with Payne gray, added over those particular lines, gives it a warmth and a silkiness. Awesome. Whereas before, that's exactly it. Whereas before it was Payne's gray black, or Payne's gray and cobalt blue. It kind of fell flat. It didn't have the dimension. Holy moly. I wish I could see this more clearly. Just that one change of color. It's transforming everything. It's actually giving this more depth and more darkness than I had with black, or deep teal, or transparent earth red mixed with the color. That purple is giving it so much life. No, that was incorrect. That was incorrect. Put it there. This is almost framing some of the darker shapes. This purple. It's really unbelievable. I'm a genius. I've got so much glare, excuse me. Again, I'm not looking at it to direct the paint. I'm looking at it, the image is telling me, the paint is telling me, the brush is telling me where to go next. So I just stand, take a breath, have a look, let it sink into my thick acorn skull, my acorn thick skull. Walk across the room, grab the paint that I need, come back and hope that it sticks. We have it there, we need it there. The same color, same brush strokes. Again, flow, balance, blah, 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 crap, crap, crap. Little filbert. Ready? You're welcome. out there. Then we're gonna shut off the camera. Pray I still have internet. Keeps getting stuck in my pajama bottoms. All right. Oop. No. Okay, let's take a quick look. Funny how all the lines that I fell in love with have to go bye-bye. Not all the lines, but some of them. There we go again. You're welcome. We're looking all around. I do see more stuff I could fuss over. That. Do that real quick. Now, what was that? Crouching. Crouching. I could get on one knee, but it would take me the rest of the day to get back up again, I think. Oh, hello. Ow. We're almost there, I promise. Sort of. I don't want to think too much. All right, so I think we're going to stop. It's really time for a break. I'm going to go eat some raisin bran and mango or whatever I can find. And I'll come back to this later. Again, she is Queen. She's available. Queen. She is available through Blue Egg Interiors Gallery down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Phone number 508-680-6218, 508-680-6218. I am Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. I'm in the same shirt I've been wearing for 3 days with my pajamas, but that's just the way we roll. Again, Queen is 8 feet. She's on two 4-foot by 5-foot panels, so she's 8 feet tall by 5 feet wide. And I predict, in my most Kreskin way, that she will be done by tonight. So if you have any questions, you can contact Jay. If you've got questions about anything, pricing on this or other work that I've done, call Jay, call Chasen Galleries here in Sarasota. He's a little bit harder, but you can always contact Raphael through Art Front Galleries. Do I have paint on me? No. Through Art Front Galleries in Newark, New Jersey. All the links for everybody are always down below on my videos. If you'd like to help keep me from having my internet shut off in the next couple days, think about purchasing work. Also, you can purchase work items with images of my work on t-shirts, sweatshirts, as poster prints, coffee mugs, on sketchbooks and journals, all kinds of things on TeePublic. Link is down below. Also think about monthly support through Patreon. Patreon, where monthly support starts at $5 a month and goes up to whatever you can do. And then also I take tips through Cash App and PayPal. Those links are down below every video. So let's keep our fingers crossed that something happens, because too many purchases have been put on hold and too many commissions put off. And so your little pal here really likes living in a house and eating, which is awfully nice. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Or if you've thought about buying a painting and can't really afford the full price, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to call the galleries and ask how much. How much is this image? How much? Don't be afraid to ask. They're really nice guys. If you can't afford the price up front, because God knows I can't afford jack shit at the moment. We do payment plans too. We take deposits. Non-refundable deposits, because that's how galleries work, non-refundable deposits, and then you lay out a payment plan. And we're more than happy to work with you. God knows I am, because I like electricity. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to go have mango and raisin bran, I think. And then I'll get back to work on this later. It should be done later tonight. Again, this is Queen. She's available through Luiz at Blue Egg Gallery. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section, and I'll see them at some point. All right, take care. Ready? Ready, Carrie? Ciao. Oh, and Max. Grammy loves you, honey. Grammy loves you. All right, ready? Ciao. Ciao. Meow. 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 Oh, how do we shut this off? This is different. I forgot. Boink.